Hello, everybody. Welcome in to Stacking the Box. Carm is muted because technology not helping him on this Tuesday, March 15th. We have a lot to get to. NFL free agency, Deshaun Watson, his situation, which is rapidly evolving as we're talking, right? The Atlanta Falcons suddenly involved. We'll get Carm back here in a second. For those of you who are watching, for those of you who are listening, we may either edit out the fact that Carm can't figure out how to use technology, or we might shame him with this. Either way, it's a good time. But look, there's a lot to get to. Obviously, free agency started yesterday. We're going to touch on some winners and some losers. We're going to touch on the AFC West arms race, which has been wild. We're going to touch on Jacksonville, which is seemingly trying to sign a brand new team over the last 24 hours. So all kinds of things to touch on. Carm, can we hear you now?
I sure hope so, Matt.
There
Can
we go.
I? Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. I apologize. Good to be here. A lot of fun yesterday in the 3-hour extravaganza. We have not. I want to check in on you. I know you did a Twitter thingy last night. The old Verderame late night. I was watching the Bulls and the Sacramento Kings, so I didn't double watch. It was a big game last night, buddy. But how you feeling? Charvarius Ward leaving. I mean, history, interceptions. I mean, are you thinking back to D Ford? Are you reliving that nightmare? Anything like that going on in your head?
No, so I think for Charvarius Ward, I mean, he got paid. The Chiefs were in on him. They wanted him back. I think he got paid maybe a little bit more than their expectation was, and he moves on, and good for him. He gets a nice deal with San Francisco. He'll be good there. He'll help the 49ers out. He's a good corner. He's a good, solid corner. Low end 1, high end 2, but a good player. And he really stepped up last year when the Chiefs needed him to be a number 1 for a lot of the year. And he played against guys like CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase. And, some games there were some mixed results like Chase and whatnot. But even in that game where Chase went nuts, I thought Ward actually played really well. There's just nothing he could really do about it. He was great against Lamb, who they basically left him on an island with. So good on him. It was an interesting night, from a Chiefs perspective, and obviously we're not just going to sit here and talk Chiefs all show, but Justin Reed to the Chiefs, which closes the door essentially, you would think, on Tyrann Mathieu.
Yep.
I got to say, it's a weird thing because look, Tyrann Mathieu deserves all the credit in the world. I think he's the best free agent signing they've ever had. I also think the Chiefs made the right decision. I do. I think Justin Reed's a really good player. He's 5 years younger than him. Brings all the intangibles. Everything you've ever heard about Justin Reed is what a quality guy he is. Like, I actually think in a lot of ways it makes them smart for what they did. Even though you're walking away from a guy who I think is probably going to end up in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, is this just an age thing? Reed 25, Mathieu 30, long-term deal. Rather put it on a 25-year-old dude, $20 million guaranteed. I mean, if they're both the same age, do you think they make the same decision?
No. But I think you've got to factor in. Look, I mean, Reed is 25. He just turned 25 years old. Tyrann Mathieu turns 30 in a few months. I think there's a concern of, look, how healthy is he going to stay? Not to say that he can't, right? But I think there's always that concern that, when you get into your 30s, are you going to be able to play 17 games? Are you going to be able to do it at the level that you need to justify what is probably going to be, let's face it, a pretty decent contract? And I think with Justin Reed, 3 years, $30 million, he's been pretty durable. He's missed 8 games over 4 years, 4 of them last year. He's been a really good player and on a really bad team for the most part. So I think for KC, it's an easy decision to sign him at 3 years, $30 million. Not to say it's easy to move on from Tyrann Mathieu. I don't think it is, but I think it's easier to make that decision to bring in a younger, at this point, more athletic player.
I you know how I am, Verderame. I'm one of the most loyal guys going. So when someone like Tyrann Mathieu's been a winner both on and off the field, cannot be argued. Tip of the cap. Great career in Kansas City. You called him one of the best free agents, if not, I think you said the best free agent signing the Chiefs have ever had.
The best. He is. I see people argue with Priest Holmes. Like, I love Priest Holmes. There is no way. Like, Tyrann Mathieu was a captain of a Super Bowl team. Come on.
Right. And so it just seemed like they weren't bringing him back no matter what. This wasn't like, oh, all of a sudden here's a guy being available, you know, in Justin Reed's like, okay, let's go get Justin Reed, and now unfortunately we'll move on from Mathieu. It's like they were moving on regardless, which is
I think they look. I was told a week ago, and I reported this, that if the market had shaken out in a way where his price tag came down to a point that they felt good about, yeah, they would have gone for it. But usually when you feel that way, like the guy's gone. And he was gone in this case. They saw a guy they could replace him with for probably less per year who's younger. And I always call those things like the Belichick move, because Belichick was famous for that. I mean, where they would just move on from guys. But listen, we don't have to sit here and just talk Chiefs. There's a lot to get to, but you know, it is what it is.
Would you
I
like
thought it
to,
was a good move by the Chiefs.
I just thought we would do that before you wanted to wax poetic about Aaron Rodgers and his official 100.
I'm not getting into Aaron Rodgers. I don't care. You know what? They're paying him a fortune. They better hope he stays good, because if he doesn't, they're going to stink. And by the way, because I did tweet out, if you have questions, ask away. Joe jumped in the chat real quick and just asked, do I think KC'd be interested in Miles Jack, or what other corners be fit? I do not think they'll be in on Miles Jack. They usually only play two linebackers, and they have Gay and Bolton. I mean, could I be wrong? Sure. I don't think they're going after Miles Jack. At corner, Levi Wallace out of Buffalo is interesting. Stephon Gilmore is interesting out of Carolina. We'll see. They've never made huge investments in corners under Veach. So they have scouted very well. They've done a really good job of finding guys day 2, day 3. Dante Jackson's a good call. Yep, he's a good corner. There's some guys out there. There's still a decent amount of corners out there that are like tier 2 guys. So if they want to sign one, they will.
Kyle Fuller.
There's a lot of names out there that I think make some sense for the Chiefs at corner.
So you sweating are you, and do you think more importantly Kansas City is whoa, look at you Chargers, Khalil Mack, and now we're going to go get the top free agent out there, best cornerback on the market, J.C. Jackson, 5-year, $82.5 million, 40 guaranteed. You got to hand it to the Chargers. We got Justin Herbert on a rookie deal. This is our best time to go all in. We got it right in the draft, and we're going to pay him, but we don't have to pay him now. So let's see if we can squeeze out a Super Bowl before we have to pay the big money and figure the whole thing out. So here we go, J.C. Jackson.
Yeah, no. I mean, listen, I think Jackson was one of my 5 favorite contracts of the day. And normally I don't feel that way. There are some people out there who just love every contract that's huge. I don't feel that way. In fact, a lot of times I think the biggest contracts are so stupid. Okay. That contract to me is a very, very good contract. I thought he was going to get more than that. So good on him. 5 years, 82.5. Like you said, the structure's solid. The Chargers really are only into it for like 3 years. And I think, look, he was, to me, the best corner on the market by a wide margin. And he now joins Asante Samuel Jr. and Derwin James in that secondary. And as you mentioned, they have Mack to go with Bosa. And we talked about Mack yesterday. I think we both feel the same way, right? Like, Mack's good at this point. He's not great. But he's better than who was playing across from Bosa last year. Go ahead.
Let me just throw in there. He might be terrible. He's coming off a major foot injury / surgery. It's a big roll of the dice, but high upside if he is healthy. So I think that one to me is huge upside, and the floor is unknown.
I think I asked you this yesterday, but I'll repeat it because it's a different show. Do you think the Chargers are better than the Broncos right now?
I do.
Okay.
I absolutely do.
I do too. But here's where I fall on the Chargers. I love what the Chargers have done. I'm a huge Herbert guy. I think their roster, player for player, is close to, if not as talented as Kansas City's. Like, they have guys all over the place. If there's one big difference, I do think their offensive line is not good and Chiefs is. That's probably one big difference, although Slater's excellent and Lindsley's very good as well. My thing with the Chargers is when I'm trying to handicap the division, which, by the way, they're still well behind the Broncos as the third team in the AFC in Vegas books, which is interesting to me. I like them a lot talent-wise, but it feels like we do this every year with them, where it's like, look at what they've done. Look how talented they are. And then they win 8 games. I just wonder with them, like, I know with the Chiefs that if they're healthy, they're winning 12 or 13 games. They just are. They do it every year. They're loaded up. You know what you're getting. Like, I know they're going to win games. With the Chargers, if you said to me they're going to go 13-4, I could absolutely see it. I could also sit there and see them going 9-8, and everybody's going, how? Like, how did that? The other concern I have with the Chargers, and it has to be said, they have a lot of guys on the team with injury concerns. A lot of them. Bosa gets hurt all the time. Derwin James is hurt all the time. Asante Samuel had multiple concussions last year. And I love Samuel as a player, but he's hurt last year. Eckler got hurt last year, which, to be fair, usually he does not. That was actually more of an anomaly for him. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen both have injury histories. Like, that is a concern for me. Mac, obviously, coming off of the foot injuries you mentioned. Like, I could see them winning 13 games. I could also see a scenario where it's week 8 next year and 6 of these guys are on the shelf because they're on the shelf all the time. I hate to go with the injury thing. I think, by the way, I think they're going to be very good. But there are pitfalls with the Chargers. I also don't know what to say about Staley. So there's just a lot of unknown.
Is Lucas playing with us in the chat?
I am checking Twitter because Lucas is always on the money here, saying that now Randy Gregory. He's right. Apparently, according to Mike Garofalo, I know people listening to this are already aware of this. Randy Gregory pulling a U-turn. He's agreeing to terms with the Broncos. As reported by Vic Lombardi, Cowboys deal fell apart. Okay.
Wow. That's super interesting because it was reported yesterday, 5 years, $70 million with Dallas. And Randy Gregory, as we all know, I think, big time issues off the field. The Cowboys stuck by him and he paid off, which was actually one of the Jerry Jones's more beautiful things. I mean, this dude missed two plus seasons with problems off the field, and that's not to throw shade at anyone because there's a lot of people in this world that deal with substance issues. I'm not here to cast judgment on it, but they stuck with him, and he came around, and now headed off to Denver. That just feels off, but whatever. Look, yeah.
First of all, good on him for working through his issues, okay, and hopefully they're behind him. From a football standpoint, and obviously we don't know what the deal is with Denver, although I would assume it's more than 5 years, $70 million, based off of the fact he backed out of the Cowboys deal. I do not understand why he's getting paid that amount of money. And I felt, and I was just talking about this with somebody at FanSided. Like, I don't understand why. Would you like to take a guess at how many career sacks Randy Gregory has?
14?
16 and a half. He's
listen.
Why? Why are you like Hassan Reddick got 3 and 45 yesterday and has more sacks than that almost in just last year than Randy. And listen, this isn't like a crap on Denver. I give Denver a lot of credit for what they've done. I think they did a nice job yesterday with DJ Jones, who's a run-stuffing defensive tackle. Okay, I think they did a nice job, obviously, landing Wilson. I've been on the side that they won that trade. This one, I don't get this. You're paying that much money for what? I mean, with all due respect, like he's never had more than 6 or 6.5 sacks in a year. Like,
you're also making a big gamble on a guy.
I don't know, man. I mean that contract, like that one, I can't get into.
I mean, I'm just, this is not a courtroom, so we can speculate. I do wonder, like, when he sat down to actually put pen to paper, what kind of conditions the Cowboys were putting on the deal that might have soured Randy, and he or his agent, the Randy Gregory team, and they just said, "All right, hey, we appreciate it, but we're not doing that." So I don't know, Denver. Buyer beware. That's all. That I hope it works out for both Randy and the Broncos. I'm rooting for them.
I am as well. But man, I gotta tell you, I mean, There have been a few contracts I have not loved.
Yeah, what's your number one not lover?
Christian Kirk. That contract. Now I think there's probably a ton of fluff in that, but the other one might be Zay Jones. So we'll get to the Jags here momentarily. The Randy Gregory, I don't see that, man. Like 5 years, $70 million, 16 and a half sacks. Like,
well, listen,
I'm not saying he's not decent. Like, he's not a good, but like, my God, like, you're not going into a game going, how are we stopping Randy Gregory?
There is a thing in sports that's called, I don't know, big eyes for enormous talent. And Randy Gregory does have the high-end talent that teams fawn over, right?
Yes.
So I think they're partly seeing a guy that he's having success and there's a next level, and we're taking a shot at a dude who could really step into being elite. But again, I don't know. Give Denver credit though, man.
At his entire career game log right now. Every game. So in his career, he has 3 games with 2 or more sacks, and they've always been 2 sacks even. Okay, he had 1 game in 2020 against Washington where they lost 41-16. Where he had 2 sacks. He had 2 sacks against Carolina this year and 2 sacks against the Pats. So this past season, he had 4 games where he recorded a sack. I don't know, man. That's one of those things where it's like, I feel like because he's a name, if he wasn't a name, like if his name was, John Smith, but has the exact same numbers, what does he get paid?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just funny, like, if you go and look at it right now, 9:47 a.m. Source: Cowboys keep defensive end Randy Gregory, 5-year, $70 million deal. ESPN. Not throwing shade at anyone here because Lord knows I've had my own mistakes in this fine business. But there it was, 5 years, 70. It was reported at $28 million guaranteed. A source told ESPN's Adam Schefter. I believe he's a fairly credible reporter around the league. Gregory's contract comes a day after sources told ESPN the Cowboys agreed to a new 3-year, $40 million deal, 30 guarantee with DeMarcus Lawrence. Then there's Malik Hooker too for the $8 million deal. I don't know. Career high. Let that one sink in. By the way, 11 starts. That's a career high. That ain't great. Y'all.
Yeah, look, man. I mean, again,
I don't get it. I don't.
We can move on, but
yeah.
I don't.
You want to do Jacksonville?
I don't get it. Yeah. So look, Jacksonville yesterday. My God, I mean, they were throwing around money like a drunk frat kid in Atlantic City. They were getting after it. I'll let you tee off here with this. I mean, they signed to set the table. They signed Brandon Schreff, the guard out of Washington, 3 years, $49.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Kirk to a 4-year deal worth up to, which is important to note, $84 million. Zay Jones, 3 years, $24 million, worth up to 30. Evan Ingram, 1 year, I believe $10 million. And then they also had a couple of defensive signings as well. Olakun, who comes over from the Falcons, 3 years, $45 million. He led the league in tackles last year with 192. But now they are cutting Miles Jack. They lost DJ Chark, who signed a 1-year deal with the Lions. And they're reportedly shopping Laviska Shenault, who is a pretty good young receiver entering his 3rd year. So your thoughts on what Jacksonville has done and what they might do here over the last 72 hours or so.
So I like Foye. He's just listen, lead the NFL in tackles, great personality. I just enjoy what he brings to the table. But the reality is they are paying the Jacksonville tax. Right? You have to go over the top to get players to come down to Jacksonville because of your history as the Jacksonville Jaguars. And winning the offseason or and by the way, Jaguar fans out there, I know you're very passionate, so maybe you're enjoying this moment in Jacksonville Jaguar time. But it's just I would get it more if the Jags were actually close to doing something.
Right.
You're trying to lift yourself out of the depths to get to mediocre. So what does that do for you? So now you're in the middle with bad contracts, and it's going to be hard to somehow, some way get yourself over the top unless Trevor Lawrence turns into the player that everyone thought he would be and can just carry the franchise, which is that's a huge leap. So overall, there's a tax factor and there's a where you are in life factor that both come together that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
So the Jags have done this before, but they've had multiple off seasons where they've done this. And they go out and they spend just ungodly amounts of money. Right? Remember that year? God, it must have been 2014, before the 2014 season, I think. They went out and signed like Malik Jackson and they signed the tight end out of Denver, that Julius Thomas. Then they went out and they signed all these guys like nothing. And then they went out and they signed AJ Boye and Calais Campbell, and like they just do this. They spend crazy. Barry Church and all these guys. And that year, to their credit, that team got to the AFC Championship game somehow at Bortles. So credit to where it's due. I always appreciate teams that are trying to win, but I also look at this and say, like, what did you accomplish? Like, is there one guy they signed? Is there one guy who you're like, that guy is somebody you're circling on a game plan when you face them? Sharef's a great signing. I love the Sharef signing. Okay. I thought he'd get a lot more than that. He's an all-pro guard. I love that signing. And I'm with you on Foye, by the way. Okay. A good player. I wouldn't have spent $50 million a year on a linebacker when I'm Jacksonville and I've got a million other needs, but he's a good player. Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram. Who of those guys do you care about? Like, and I like Christian Kirk, not at that money. Zay Jones and Evan Ingram, I don't know why. Like, what? I don't understand. I like Kirk. He's a good player. But my God, man. I mean, they just threw around so much money, and I look at them, and with the guys they've lost, and if they trade Shenault, like, are they better? Are they even better after all that if they trade away Shenault?
Fair question. They are in the news for whatever that's worth.
That's worth nothing. Are they better than they were 48 hours ago?
Look, this is how they're going to be better. Let's just call it what it is. Trevor has to become Trevor.
Yes.
If that happens, these signings are going to look great, or at least passable. If it doesn't happen, you're, for lack of a better word, let's go with screwed.
Yeah.
And for the record, I still believe that Trevor's going to be a hell of a quarterback in the league. Like, come on. You can't be as good as Lawrence was in college and then just flat out suck. They did absolutely everything they possibly could to not make his life easy, and they're trying to right that ship. It would be, what would be interesting for Jacksonville. Why don't you bring back A-Rob, who's still sitting out there? Throw him in the mix. And by the way, yesterday, as far as Twitter concerns go around this show, people are hyped on Allen Robinson in Kansas City. A lot of conversation around that, and A-Rob's still sitting out there.
Yeah, well, I think what we're talking about right now might be the reason he's sitting out there, because when Christian Kirk signs for $21 million a year, that causes a lot of like, okay, now how much is he worth then? And then it becomes the agent says, well, I got to get more than $21 million from Robinson because holy hell, he's better than Christian Kirk is. And then the team say, well, what are you kidding me? You're going to use that contract? Nobody thinks that contract is smart. So you get into this push-pull. Look, man, you know what? I will say this. I do want to mention this real quick, though, because I think this is important. We as a media, we have to do better in the way that we present these contracts. And this is something I wanted to say real quick. I said on my Spaces last night. And I'm not taking a rip at anybody in the media because it's hard, man. And free agency moves a mile a minute, and we all understand that. But like, okay, so it's 484 at its peak. But what are the guarantees in the contract? Like, because that's what really matters, and it gets presented in a certain way, and it gets presented that way because that's how the agent tells the reporter. Okay, but your job as a reporter is to like actually present it the way it is.
Yeah.
And now you end up with the situation where like everybody thinks he's getting paid 21 million a year, which in essence, yes, if every escalator's hit, if every incentive is cashed in, yes. But in reality, what is that contract probably? I mean, I haven't seen all the structure or anything on it. My guess is that contract's going to come out and it's going to be 2 years and 35 million with a crap ton of money on the back end that is basically funny money. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Balky's just completely out of his mind and signed him, and it's there's 58 million guaranteed in that. But I would be pretty stunned.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but like let's give the media and let's give NFL fans and let's give myself like it's just so damn confusing, man. Like, look, just the Rodgers deal, the way it's written up: 3 years, 150, 2 voidable years, 25, 26, to help for salary cap purposes. Rodgers on the book for a salary cap of 46 plus this next year, but that figure's been reduced by 18 million with the new deal. He'll make 41.95 this year now, and in the form of a 40.8 million roster spot, a base salary of 1.15. And then 2023 pay of 59. I mean, it's just a headache, man. Like, and who the hell do the people in the NFL even understand? Like, having a good cap guy in your system who understands how to maneuver it, like that guy's probably more valuable than your outside linebacker. It's unbelievable how this thing can be maneuvered around. I just I'd be curious in the chat, like, how do fans want that stuff presented? Like, do you want us to go deep into the? I mean, do you want to hear Verderame wax poetic on the cap and dead money? You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it, but I also think it's important to be clear. And that's
sure, and you can, and the easiest way to, and Cheeto Freak wants it, so we love you, Cheeto Freak. We'll do the best we can. And the easiest way to do it is the guaranteed dough. Like, the total number doesn't matter at all, right?
I talked to an agent a week ago. Not obviously about this, of course, hadn't happened yet. And we were just talking, just different things about what's going on in the league, and just I'm getting some insight. Hopefully he's getting some from me, and we're going back and forth. And somehow we got on the topic of contracts, and he was like, "Man, he's like, you guys in the media are so obsessed with annual values." He's like, "Nobody who's an agent gives a shit about annual values. Nobody." He's like, "All that matters is guaranteed money and structure. That's it. That is all that matters. And anything else is bullshit." And I'm not paraphrasing what he said to me, but I mean, it's the truth.
When you say structure, to put it in layman's terms, how much money is up front?
Well, yeah. So like, let's just say, just for really easy numbers, you sign a 5-year and a $50 million contract. Okay. Now, I think sometimes the easy way to look at it is, it's $10 million a year, but it's not really. Most teams backload contracts. So a lot of times, like, that first year cap hits like 5 million, right? Then it's 10 and 10, or maybe then it's like 8 and 10 and 12 and 15, right? So it kind of like escalates up. And the guaranteed money is almost always, in fact, I think it is like 100% always in the front end of the contract. So if you see a 5-year deal for 50 million with 25 million guaranteed, it's almost certain that that 25 million guaranteed is spread out of the first 3 years of the contract. Now, if they're, without getting way down into the weeds of this, like, if there's a $10 million signing bonuses are always spread evenly. They have to be by CBA rules. They're spread evenly over the course of the contract. So if it's a 5-year deal and it's a $10 million signing bonus, it's $2 million every year, and that's fully guaranteed. So that would be dead money if they were to cut him at some point. The short version of that is to say guaranteed money only what matters, because that's what dead cap is. If it's not guaranteed, you're not paying dead cap. Okay, outside of a signing bonus, but that's of course guaranteed. That's part of your guaranteed money. If it's not guaranteed money, it doesn't count as dead cap space. That's why, like, Wentz this year, Wentz is making, I think, $28 million in Washington. Okay, that number is essentially guaranteed. After that, there's no more guaranteed money in his contract. There's 2 more years on his deal, 2023, 2024, but there's no guaranteed money. So if they were to cut him after this season, they have zero dead money. They can move on.
Right. I thought the comment by Cheeto Freak is brilliant. That first of all, that everybody will listen to your beautiful Boston accent is amazing. And second, that you both make people feel smart and stupid at the same time.
Well,
That's the
I can bring balance.
That's the brilliance of you. All right, let's move on off the money because I got a headache and there's a lot to cover here. Let's get to Deshaun Watson, Verderame. What's the latest? What can you tell us? Where do you think he lands? When does he land? What's the price tag? What do we got? I find it fascinating.
So I'm sorry. You're gonna have to repeat that because I was just reading Jeremy Fowler of ESPN reporting that Marcus Williams, safety out of New Orleans, just signed a 5-year, $70 million contract. The Baltimore Ravens. That is big money. Wow. Okay, he's a nice player. It's a lot. Okay, so that blows the safety market to all hell. I'll tell you right now, boy. If you're if you're Seattle and Kansas City and you signed safeties yesterday, you're feeling real good right about now because wow, did everybody just get a lot more expensive? Holy hell!
It's a good day for Honey Badger. You would think, maybe, I don't know. So what I was just I went to Watson, Verdi.
Okay. I
And
apologize. This is obviously a little bit of a different show this week.
You're all right. You're okay. So look, I want to know where, I want to know when, and I want to know the price tag. And if you got any insight on the latest with good old Deshaun, because that of all the dominoes this year, that's going to be the biggest one.
Yes. So look, I've been putting out that the Browns are a dark horse to watch with Watson. And I wrote this. Well, I wrote it Sunday night. I went up Monday morning and stacked the box. But a week ago I reported, look, the Browns are looking to upgrade from Mayfield. If they can do it, they're going to. Now I'm not the only one reporting the thing with Mayfield, but I have been putting out for a while. Like the Browns, like, don't count them out on this Watson thing. Well, now guess what? They're meeting with him today. And they're one of 3 teams meeting with him, and supposedly now the Falcons are involved. If all things are equal, which they never are in life, but if he was willing to waive his no trade to go anywhere, do the Browns not make the most sense? Are they clearly not the best team you could sign? Carolina's not anywhere near as good.
So okay, it's Cleveland, Carolina, and who?
New Orleans.
In New Orleans. I mean, who is Baker going back to Houston in this deal?
I mean, he's going somewhere, and I don't know if Houston would want him or not. But if he's not going back to Houston, he's going somewhere else, right? I mean, and they're getting some of those picks back.
Can you imagine if you could get Watson, if you're the Browns, for Baker and say, I don't know, 3rd and a 5th? Is that too little?
Oh God, yeah, dude, you're not getting that.
Okay, how about
I think Watson's costing somebody 3 first-round picks.
So, but if you're throwing in Baker,
okay, but he's not worth 3 first-round picks.
Oh, so if you're throwing in Baker, is it 2? You think it's 2 number 1s in Baker?
Yeah, because let's walk this back. So history matters in the NFL. Last year, the Rams and Lions had a deal where Stafford went from Detroit to the Rams, and the Rams sent Goff and 2 firsts. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the framework of something like that. Mayfield and 2 firsts. To your point.
I think you can draw that line. I mean, Watson, Stafford,
close, right? Close.
Remotely's close. Off field probably knocks. I would think would knock Watson down, but maybe it doesn't matter at all. Baker, Goff, Baker a little bit better, maybe. I don't even know.
The Watson off the field stuff should matter in reality, okay, in real life, but it doesn't because there are so many teams that are going to be in on him. The Texans aren't going to have to pay that price. They're not. And so Look, I think wherever he goes is 3 first. But if you're Deshaun Watson and you're sitting there and these are your 3 options, like, are they clearly not the best team? You go to Cleveland, you play behind a very good offensive line with very good running backs, with decent tight ends, with Amari Cooper and Donovan Peoples-Jones and whatnot at receiver, right? Like, you could do a hell of a lot worse. I mean, you could do a lot worse. Now, will he go there? Would he rather go back to Carolina, which is close to where he played with Clemson? Okay, maybe. Maybe.
I honestly, and maybe this is too utopian of a take, but if I'm Deshaun and I know what I put the Texans through the last year plus, I would just send me wherever you want to send me. I'm going to go make my career. I'm going to go resurrect my career in an amazing way. I get that we can't go forward here, but make the best deal for yourself. And I'll Carolina, Cleveland, New Orleans, wherever, I'll be good. Maybe that's too utopian. I mean, I guess he's got he has his power, so he's allowed to use it to whatever degree that is. But I don't think he should be up there being like, no, I'm not going to Carolina. You let the Texans do what makes sense for the Texans. If I'm him, is that not fair?
He's not going to do it. He doesn't care about that. He's going to go where he wants to go. And listen again. I think in the end, if he's willing to go to Cleveland, first of all, I think that's the best situation for him. Second of all, if you're the Browns, you have no chance without him. None. You have no shot in hell of winning anything in the AFC without Deshaun Watson. With him, you got a shot. Without him, you have none. Now, if you're the Texans, do you trade him in the AFC? I mean, that becomes a question. Now, if he sits there and stomps his feet and says, I won't go anywhere else, you could play that game, okay? I still feel like, ultimately for him, it comes down to comfort, which Carolina is a place that he knows. Again, went to school in Clemson. Or it goes to, does he just want to go to a team where he feels like he's got the best surrounding cast? Cleveland has the best surrounding cast. So, I mean, I think it's one of those two teams. I know some people have said, look, he loves New Orleans. To me, I guess I just don't get it. Like, why? Unless he just loves the city. Like, unless he just really wants to go play in the Bayou, which, okay, fine. New Orleans is a great city. What do they have? They have Michael Thomas, who missed all last year. They have Alvin Kamara, fine. And what exactly? Like, that offense stinks. I mean, what else do they have? Like, I don't know. If I'm him, like, that's where I'm running to. That team.
Pro Football Talk's got Atlanta out there. You buy it? At least that they're in the mix?
Well, I mean, Schefter Mortensen put that out there this morning. I don't buy it. And I'm not saying I don't buy it like it couldn't happen, but I don't buy it in the sense of they just restructured Ryan's contract. Like, they would literally be paying something like $90 million against the cap. Actually, I think I'm a little over on that. I think it's like 70 something against the cap in quarterbacks. Could they do it? They could. I mean, I think Atlanta is interested, but again, my God, if you go there, if you're him, okay, what is there on that team? That team is a bottom 5 roster in the
NFL. Yeah, no, I hear you.
I mean, they stink, man. Can you name 5 guys on that roster?
No, and neither can anyone else. Right. Ed Werder, by the way, just want to read this to you, Verderame. Source: Broncos ranked Randy Gregory as a top edge rusher in unrestricted free agency over Chandler Jones. Believe they were close to a deal last night. Then Cowboys owner Jerry Jones recruited, quote, the hell out of him. Cowboys reportedly attempted to change contract after agreement. Broncos became the choice, which is exactly what we just said, by the way, 15 minutes ago.
Yep.
That Dallas, that whatever deal they had, Jerry got in there and said, hey, let's do this because of whatever's going on. And he's like, nope, see you later.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I didn't mean to run off the Deshaun Watson. But at any rate, all right, forever changing. Nobody knows. Do you think it's anytime soon? Like
I could
before next deck in the back? Go ahead.
I think it could happen this week, though. Sure. I think it absolutely happens this week.
All right. Let's hit on Trubisky and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're having meltdowns in Pittsburgh radio that this is it. We've got no Ben Roethlisberger. We didn't know what it looked like moving forward. Now it's here. His name is Mitch. 2-year deal. Let's go. Reality hitting you in the face like the first winter day. I don't know. That's it. It ain't pretty.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, if they make the playoffs, Mike Tomlin should be inducted in the Hall of Fame. Because who do you another team? You're in a conference with how many quarterbacks were incredible, right? Like, so just off the top, somebody's got to come out of the AFC South. Somebody's got to do it. The rest of that conference has Herbert, Mahomes, Wilson in one division, Allen in another, Lamar and Burrow. You got to beat out one of those teams with Mitch Trubisky. Good luck to you.
Hall of Fame, baby. Hall of Fame he belongs in there regardless. Mike Tomlin does not get enough love.
He's a great, which is why I would not say they couldn't make it, because look at what they did this year. Roethlisberger, I honest to God think I could throw a football further than Ben Roethlisberger at this point.
So that therein, and you just got to my point that I was waiting to drop on you, is the Steelers, not in name, but in actual performance. Say what you want about Mitch Trubisky, and it's all fine, but they just upgraded at the position. Ben Roethlisberger sucked last year. You got a better quarterback. Mitchell Trubisky, if nothing else, can at least move. And he has a – go ahead.
No. I was going to say, whoa, here's something that's interesting. My God, this would be – what? I just got to make sure that's right. Okay, so Jordan Schultz, who we talked about yesterday, we both appreciate the work of, says Deshaun Watson is also meeting with the 49ers, per source. I'm told the Saints remain the front runners, which we just talked about this. I just finished saying I don't get it unless he just really loves the situation, which maybe he does. I will be the first to admit I have no source on why I'm not familiar with him or his agent, in terms of like professional setting. I do know the Browns are in on him, but other than that, based on trade, the Saints remain the front runners based on trade assets and their desire to acquire the 26-year-old superstar quarterback. Decision likely by tomorrow. I got to tell you, if the Niners are in on him, it's not saying much about their thoughts on Trey Lance.
Yeah, I don't mean to be a jerk here, but I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. That makes no sense. You are not giving up on Trey Lance, who you
just gave up. I know. Well, and that's
you're not doing that. There's no way that's right. I would be stunned.
So let's for a second, because I tend to agree with you. The other thing that makes no sense in this, they have no picks.
No
disrespect for Lance.
Yeah, no disrespect to Jordan, but if that report for me to believe it, that's got to come from the Rappaport or Schefter, even though Schefty's had a little bit of a rough couple of moments here.
It has been a rough stretch.
Yeah, but that just doesn't add up.
I'm just running the numbers in my head. The Niners gave up 3 firsts for Lance. So they don't even have a first rounder unless I'm losing my mind this year or next year. What would they trade for him?
They wouldn't. That ain't happening. No way.
I mean, our fine producer Hunter Armour saying that they would trade a Lance. Okay, yeah, they would, but like, I mean, you'd still need more than that. That's I mean, unless the Texans are just out of their minds and they think Lance is the second coming, and they just are like, all right, well, we'll do it straight up, like a couple second rounders. I don't get. I don't see that. That's interesting, but bizarre. Okay, all right. I don't know. That just is bizarre to me. I love I absolutely love Jordan Schultz's reporting ability and everything else. That's why I said it. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have said it. But just I'm with you. Carm strikes me as like, whoa, really? Sure,
Yeah.
okay.
I, again, love Jordan. Great personality. On the beat. I don't buy this one from Jordan. I'm sure he's got a good somebody's giving him some solid info, but that one's just a if you're the Texans and the Niners are willing to give you Trey Lance for Deshaun Watson, if we want to try to make this thing work, okay. Maybe you think that's the best you can do. You love Trey Lance. You loved him then. We're getting rid of Deshaun, but we're taking a flyer on or we're not it wouldn't even be looked as a flyer. We're getting the number 3 pick in the draft last year
Right.
who is ready to take off. And this is a phenomenal move for us. And for some reason, the 49ers, who now, if you're the Texans, wouldn't you be asking yourself the question, what the hell are they seeing in this guy behind the scenes that we're not seeing, that they're willing to give up on him for a guy who's had,
Of course.
it wouldn't make any sense. It just does. That just, I'm willing to be wrong. We'll play it back, but if not, we can just replay me saying that Brady's coming back again if I'm right.
All right. And we should. By the way, guys, I see in the chat somebody asking about did the Browns sign Allen Robinson? I have not seen that. I've not seen that anywhere. Man, that is just the NFL, man. The NFL is an interesting place. But all right, so let's keep the train rolling here.
Yeah, okay, train rolling. We got a couple things to hit here. I think we're missing Heisler today. Is that the deal?
I think so. I think Ben Heisler, he's big timed us.
Yeah, the Heist thought that it was a 1-show week apparently, and we appreciate having Heist on. Yeah, that's. I mean, listen, the dedication is it's noted. We'll file it away. Which gets us to the end of the show here, Verdi. I mean, what's going on, buddy? I know that what's also going on right now is baseball free agency.
I want to talk about it. Now, you know what? I really have gotten to a point with baseball that I don't know, unless you root for a team that is a top 5 team in the league, maybe top 8. Why do you even bother? Right? Like I've been an A's fan since baseball's the last sport I got into. So probably since I was 11, right? So about 20 some odd years ago. And they, to their credit, have given me some great years. They've also given me a lot of crappy ones. Fine. That's sports. But what gets old after a while is you see these guys come up. They become good players. And then it's just a fire sale. It's every 5 years. You sell off the whole team. And it's not even that I'm mad at the A's about it. Like, obviously, they just traded Bassett. They traded Matt Olson. Manaea will be gone. I'm sure Trevino will be gone. Chapman will be gone. But, you then bring in all these prospects, right? And they got 4 of them from Atlanta for Matt Olson. And everybody's saying that the A's actually did really, really well in this deal. Let's say they did. They're just going to trade all these guys in 5 years. All these guys will just be gone again in 5 years. Even if they turn out to be all-star, like what if one of them turns out to be, they got a catcher in the deal. What if the guy turns out to be Joe Mauer? Okay, great. He'll go be a Hall of Famer for the Yankees in 5 years. Like, I'm to the point, I've never been I'm a switch teams guy. I hate that guy. I think I'm either just going to go New York Mets and just, hey, I'm from New York, whatever, right? I'm going to root for the Mets. So I can't root for the Yankees. Or I think I'm just giving it up. Like, I mean, this sport is so ridiculous. And then they have this CBA negotiation. And you sit through this crap. And they hem and haw and they go back and forth. And at the end of this whole thing, what do they come up with? Hey, guys, listen. Starting next year, the bases are going to be bigger because we want more stolen bases. Never mind the fact that no one's ever on the damn bases because guys strike out like it's going out of style. And it's like, well, we're going to fix the shift. We're just going to have 2 guys on either side. of second base. Okay, which, by the way, I'm for, because guys are too stupid to just hit a change up the other direction. Okay, fine. But you look at it and say to yourself, like, you do understand that a guy's just going to stand one step to the side of second base, right? Like, that's all that's going to happen. Like, you're not actually, like, you actually have to figure out more than just that, or it's not going to matter. I won't drone on, but I am to a point with baseball. They'll never do what I'm going to say because they're just gutless, and because both sides will kill each other over it till the end of time. They should put in a cap and they should put in a floor. And you would have half these owners sell tonight because none of them want to compete, which is the last point I'm going to make. Baseball is the only sport where teams actively do not give a shit if they win games. I mean, hockey, teams may stink, but they're trying. Football, teams try. Basketball, there's a handful of teams, yes, like the Thunder, who don't care. Okay, basketball is a little bit of the tanking problem. But baseball, half the league actively does not care if it wins a game. I mean, it just doesn't matter. It's an insane, insane sport. And by the way, every other sport the last 20 years, every single sport without exception has gotten faster and more athletic. Baseball has gotten slower and less athletic.
So, two things. Number one, the Atlantic League. Do you see what they're doing? One of the things they're doing.
I saw they're making changes, but I did not read it. No.
So they are restoring a previously tested rule that lets batters attempt to advance, i.e., steal first base.
Oh my God!
If a pitch is not caught in the air by the catcher, batters can try for first even if the base is occupied, and they'll be awarded a hit if they reach. MLB hopes the rule will encourage better control from pitchers by disincentivizing wild pitches and pass balls.
That's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing.
Oh, here's the 0-1. In the dirt, gets away.
He's hit!
And there goes Verderame out of the batter's box. He's chucking it down to first base, and he's saved. Verdi on the move, which, by the way, according to Atlantic League rules, you can try to do that even if there was a runner on first. So,
honestly, that's so embarrassing. Like, this sport is such a crap show. And now that, by the way, they're going to expand the playoffs. And normally, I'm pro playoff guy, right? Like, I am a big fan of the playoffs. It's got drama, whatever. You're playing 162 fucking games. You're going to expand the playoffs? That's going to be fun. Hey, my team's in first place. Call me in 4 months when the playoffs start, because we're up by 10 over the second place team, and we're up by 30 games over the seventh place team in the league. Oh my God. Like, baseball just can't get it. First of all, no sport hates itself more than baseball. Absolutely hates itself. Okay, is the person that looks itself in themselves in the mirror and just screams at themselves. The sport hates itself, led by its commissioner, who just cannot stop stepping on political landmines. That sport is such a disaster. And it's a shame because I love baseball. I played it growing up. I've watched it most of my life. It's a wonderful sport. They have bastardized that thing to the point. Like, I don't know if you heard this, and I you know me, Carl. I don't like to call it the media members, but I'm going to do it here. The Michael Kay show on ESPN Radio.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm not a Michael Kay guy. Part of it's because I hate the Yankees, and so therefore, by kinetic energy, I can't stand him. And nothing personal against Kay. I've never met him. Just how it goes. So he's on the show, and he's talking with I believe it was Don LaGreca, and this was before they came to an agreement on a labor deal. And these two guys are talking about how they're so upset with the cheap owners in the league, which I'm with them. I don't like the cheap owners either. My team is run by the cheapest. Okay. But their answer to this was, what we really should do is just contract teams like the Cincinnati Reds. Yeah, guys, that's the answer. God almighty. Like, this is how broken and just brain dead this sport is, right? Here's the announcer of the Yankees, who his answer to this is, let's just contract teams that can't keep up with the Yankees and the Dodgers. Let's just do, instead of like, hey, How about a cap and a floor? And then instead, because baseball doesn't reward teams that are smart, they punish them in a lot of ways. They reward teams that just will spend any amount of money, and just say, it doesn't matter. We made another horrendous deal. Screw it. Makes no difference because the money's still pouring in from our local TV contract. I mean, it's a bastardization of what could be and should be a really, really great sport. Whatever. I digress. But if I'm going to continue to root for this sport, I swear to God, I'm rooting for the Mets. Because if I'm going to root for a team, at least they have some money, and I'm from New York, so it's not like a total bandwagon thing. The Yankees, by the way, somebody asked me why I can't root for the Yankees. It's like rooting for Drago in Rocky. Okay? I can't do it.
So, all right.
The worst franchise in the world. The worst.
A couple things here. Number one, I still love baseball. And I actually am pro Atlantic League stealing first base. And I love the runner on second in the 10th inning. No one needs to sit here till the 16th. Move it along. Baseball, you were getting that thing right. Now you got it wrong. Alex Burgos, you're a funny man. You think I look like Kurt Warner? I don't see.
Maybe.
Really? I feel like Kurt Warner is a very professional, well-sculpted quarterback-looking dude, and I don't want to call myself a degenerate, but I just don't. I don't know if I put myself in Warner. Yeah, this is. I'm a little.
By the way, the Niners are not meeting with Deshaun Watson per like 8 other people in the league.
Yeah, but I'm watching the chat on it. It's like, oh, it's confirmed by some San Francisco people.
I know we've gone completely off the rails.
No, it's fine.
Gonzo is saying that I strike him as a Red Sox fan. But you know what? Normally I would lash out here. I love Fenway Park. I went there for the first time last year. I think it's the best stadium in baseball. And I even got a Red Sox hat. And I got a Red Sox hat. And you know what? I got that old school 1970s like Fred Lynn style hat. It's a good hat. I don't mind supporting the Red Sox because I have an overwhelming hatred of the Yankees. Hatred of them. So in that sense, you want to rip me for Boston? That's fine. I hate the Yankees. When the Red Sox beat them in 2003, came back, or excuse me, 2004, came back in that 3-0 deficit. Outside of a Boston Red Sox fan, no one in the world was happier than me and my father watching the Yankees just have a total meltdown.
So I'll tell a Carm story then to end the show because you just went in on the Red Sox. I hate the Red Sox and mainly their fans because 19. Here we go. 19. I don't know. Whatever it was. I was down in Atlanta. All right, and I'm watching the Cubs, and I think I don't know. We go to some bar. And I got my Cub hat on, and they're like, "You Cub," and this guy's got a Red Sox hat on, and he says to me, "You Cub fan? Yeah, I'm a Cub fan." And I'm like, "Hey man, we're in it together." This is before the Red Sox had won a World Series. I said, "We're in this together," and he looks at me and he's like, "We're in what together? We're in nothing together. We are not you." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, the Cubs suck every year. We're at least credible. We at least have gone to the World Series since 1908. He's thrown up 1986 like it's a badge of honor. Ground ball, Mookie Wilson through the legs of Bill Buckner. Bill Buckner, one of my favorite people of all time. Didn't mean to throw shade at him. And so I look at him I'm like, dude, until you win it, you're right here with me, pal. Second place is the first loser. And so now it's just starting to escalate. And so I had to throw the trump card at him, Verderame. I'm like, you know what? Fuck the Red Sox and fuck Larry Bird.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Jeez. And that was the only time in my life where in a bar the dude went to hit me. And my buddy Brett Hayne, God love him, 6'4", and all of them who I was on that trip with was like, ooh, because I had to trump Jordan. I had to, I'm like, MJ, dude, 6. Larry got 3. He was sweet, but 6, buddy. And your Red Sox haven't done nothing. So you could sit there and talk all your Red Sox over Cub that you want.
That's amazing. By the way, first of all, I would have paid $1,000 to be there to see you say it, that guy. And I would have been happy to fight him for you after that. But that would have been one of the fun.
I mean, don't tell me that you're not the Cubs when you haven't won anything. I don't care about Jim Rice and whoever getting close, buddy.
Well,
pal.
And by the way, Larry Bird, one of those championships doesn't even really count. They beat they beat the Rockets in '81, who weren't even a 500 team.
Yeah,
so,
well, that's a little unfair to Larry Legend. I love Larry Legend for the record.
Who was the MVP of that finals, Carm? Do you know? You're an NBA guy.
1981?
81.
Cornbread Maxwell?
Yeah, Cornbread.
Yeah.
All right, I like it, Carm.
Yeah, I'll bust
that we've gone so far off the rails. All right, real quick, March Madness. Who you got?
Verderame, this is probably the least. Well, listen, I watched every Northwestern basketball game this year because God knows why, but I am a huge Wildcat fan. And by the way, the A's are going to be at Guaranteed Rate Field July 29th, 30th, and August 1. Awesome. I don't know what that's when you take your Verderame vacation, but if not, we're going.
Can't wait.
That's it. You can't. There's no disowning your A's. They're
behind the dugout. I'll pay for them. I'll pay for the tickets. We could sit behind the dugout, and I will just accost them the entire game verbally about how much I hate that franchise. I won't knock any of the players individually. It's not their fault. I will just tell them how much I hate them as a franchise. Well, I won't. By the way, I will not really do that. It would be cathartic. If we could find John Fisher, the owner, I would do that to him for 3 hours. Players don't deserve it. All right, who you got in?
Here's my final four: Texas Tech, UCLA, Villanova, and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Championship game, UCLA, Iowa, and the Hawkeyes taking it home, baby. Okay. Class of '96 right here. Let's go, Iowa.
All right. I got Gonzaga over Villanova. And let me be clear. I couldn't name one guy in this tournament. Okay? I'm a St. John's fan. They suck. Damn school plays in the city and hosts games at the Garden and can't recruit crap. It is impossible. I mean, how that school can't recruit, there should be a federal indictment of everybody involved. It's impossible. It's like Rutgers. You can't recruit anybody out of Jersey playing football. My God, they got 1 million prep schools. Can't get one kid. But anyway, look. But that said, by the end of this tournament, I'll know 150 kids because I love March Madness. I'll watch every second of it.
All right, I'm coming out to Rockford for an afternoon Thursday, Friday. I'm making this up. I'm not doing that, but I would love to just look. Can we go to? Maybe I will. One of your dive bars over there. Just watch NCAA tournament and eat wings. Yeah.
Going out with the guys on Thursday night, $50. You get into the bar. It's all you can eat. It's dinner and then all you can drink. Friday is going to be a rough day for Verderame.
You live somewhere where you can do that. That doesn't exist any part of in America except for in Rockford. $50 on a Thursday night and then all you can drink.
That's right. That's right. And let me tell you something. They're going to lose money on that bet.
I bet they are. I bet they are. You and the fellas, huh? Who are the fellas? Who do you got? Rico and
a friend, buddy down the street who actually listens to the pod. So shout out Joey Mione, my guy, another Italian.
Mione's going to be there. All right, of course he is.
Like myself, we got him, and then we got the rest of the group. I won't shout out their names because I don't know if they'd appreciate that.
No, okay.
But there'll probably be about 10 or 12 of us down there, and there might be money involved on these games. We'll see how things shake out.
You put a couple dollars down, buddy.
I put down money in our Minute Media pool, so I'm ready to party.
Are you? We should talk about this off the air, but have you signed up on any of the gambling sites?
No.
All right, well, we'll talk off.
I'm not really.
Yeah.
But I do bet on March Madness with friends and pools and everything else.
Okay, I'm gonna hook you up with something. You'll like it. All right. Thank you for watching Stacking the Box. We love all of you. You are amazing. Yes, you're right, Gonzo. Chicago greater than New York pizza. Great way to end this thing. As Verderame will.
That's some disgraceful shit from Gonzo.
Yeah, get yourself a tavern pie tomorrow night, Verderame. Squares, live it. I appreciate it. Chicago, Rockford, Beefaroo. We're back next Tuesday at 11. Verdarame's probably going to do 4 more spaces today, so follow him on Twitter. And fuck the Red Sox. Yeah, let's end it on that one. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button, notification. Hit the notification so you know when we're on. But Tuesdays at 11. We'll see you next week.